So as you may know, the MP5 has been one of the best close range guns used in Warzone. However, with today's update, the Cold War MP5 was added to the game, thus bringing up the question, which MP5 is better to use? So in this video, I'm going to show you the stats of both, explain my testing, and then give you my personal preference on which MP5 is better to use in Warzone. So firstly, we're going to talk about range, damage, and TTK of both MP5s. And so a little disclaimer before we talk about that, testing out damage in Warzone is extremely difficult, and to get a private match set up to accurately test the damage would take dozens of people in one match. So to test out these values, I went into Plunder with Russ here, and I saw how many shots it took to kill someone at 100 health. This is when you have no plates equipped and it's just your white bar of health. And so here's what I got, and as you can see, the ranges are almost exact. With the Modern Warfare MP5, it's going to take less shots to kill from 0 to 15 meters, but after 15 meters, the two guns basically balance out and take the same amount of shots to kill. But one thing that sets these weapons apart is their rate of fire. You may have not noticed it, but the Cold War MP5 is slightly faster than Modern Warfare's, clocking in at 884 rounds per minute. Meanwhile, the Modern Warfare MP5 is 797. So technically, anything past 20 meters, you're going to get a faster time to kill with the Cold War MP5. And this TTK is 339 milliseconds versus Modern Warfare MP5 coming in at 377 milliseconds. Keep in mind, this is only for 100 health. So when a player has all 3 plates equipped and they have 250 health, this TTK gap is going to become much larger. To sum up all this nerd stuff that I'm telling you, if you are hitting 100% of your shots within 15 meters, the Modern Warfare MP5 is going to have the faster TTK, and then anything past that is going to go to the Cold War MP5. However, these TTKs are so close to each other that what matters more is hitting your shots. Now, another important thing to mention is the velocity. This is how fast your bullet is going to travel. In Cold War, the SMG velocity was awfully slow, but when they got ported over to Warzone, they're now much faster, therefore making the Cold War MP5 slightly faster when it comes to velocity. Now, you're most likely not going to be shooting anyone this far of a distance, but velocity is helpful because a fast velocity will make your shots feel more consistent and less laggy. Then let's talk about some other miscellaneous stats. For the Hipfire, I equipped the tightest laser for both MP5s, and with that, the Modern Warfare MP5 won by just a few pixels. I mean, you could barely notice it. I pretty much called it a tie. The ADS speed also seems to be a tie, coming in at 200 milliseconds for both. However, do consider that Modern Warfare has more attachments that reduce your ADS speed. So if you kit out the Modern Warfare MP5, you can have it have less ADS speed than the Cold War MP5. But without attachments, they both make the same ADS speed. The reload comes in a little different. For the Modern Warfare MP5, it is 1.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Cold War MP5, it's 2.1 seconds. So for your standard 30 round mag, you're getting a difference of a half second, which could mean life or death in some fights. And now this next stat is the biggest difference between either MP5, and this is where people are going to make their vote for sure. And this is the recoil. If you've already used a Cold War MP5 for at least one match, you could tell that its recoil is just absolutely insane, and it was never like how it was in Cold War. I tested both MP5s, both with no attachments, and what I did was just shot a wall, and as you can see here, the difference between recoils is insane. To help mitigate recoil, I put on the 2 most important attachments for recoil reduction, and I barely even saw a difference. With these 2 attachments that reduce recoil the hardest, we still had more recoil than a Modern Warfare MP5 with no attachments. So putting on these attachments for the Cold War MP5 is almost completely useless. Even in public games, I had the hardest time controlling this recoil. For someone who can control an AMAX or a Kilo, I could barely control this MP5 and hit half of my shots. And as I said before, TTK doesn't matter if you can't hit your shots. So for this reason, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Modern Warfare MP5 is still the better pick to have in Warzone. With the Modern Warfare MP5, there's more variety of attachments, it's got a slightly quicker reload, and straight up, I'm just also able to hit my shots. With the Cold War MP5, even if you put on attachments that reduce recoil, it's barely going to make a difference. And that much of a sacrifice for only 10% faster TTK is just not worth it in my opinion. So hopefully that explains to you which MP5 you should be using. I wanted to make a quick video to cover this because some people are saying the Cold War MP5 is better, Modern Warfare blah blah blah, and I wanted to go in and do the testing and make it official. I'm going to be going in a second, but one quick announcement before I go. Only 1% of my viewers are subscribed to the channel, so if you'd like to become the 1% of people that watch me, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future videos. Otherwise, my name is Wetzel, and until next time, peace!